Mirrorless is the most exciting development in camera since the birth of digital photography. Mirrorless cameras can pack the quality, control, and flexibility of a DSLR with their large sensors, exposure adjustment, and interchangeable lenses, but by dispensing the mirror have the potential to be smaller, lighter, quieter, and faster. Since they use their main imaging sensor for focusing, they also have the potential to track and focus subjects right into the corners while also exploiting face and eye detection, sometimes even for animal subjects. With 100% electronic composition, you'll also be able to use a viewfinder for everything you'd see on the screen, including playing images, assisting focus, previewing effects, white balance and color adjustments, as well as filming and playing movies, and even navigating menus, all much easier in bright conditions than using the screen. Not to mention more comfortable than those who are longer sighted. We have listed the top 5 mirrorless cameras and their key features, plus the things you need to consider to help you choose the best one for you. Links to all the products mentioned in the video are in the description below. You could also find a more detailed analysis and a comparison tool on our website, guidinggear.com. Number 5. Fujifilm X-T4. The Fujifilm X-T4 is getting a lot of buzz from enthusiasts and pro photographers alike, and with good reason. It's the first X-T camera to feature in-body image stabilization. In addition to that headline, it offers improved battery life, autofocus, continuous shooting performance, and handling versus the previous generation X-T3. It's a class-leading product, and the best smaller than the full-frame sensor camera you can get. The X-T4 is a smidge taller and the grip is a little deeper. But its 3.7 by 5.3 by 2.5 inch frame is still more compact than you can get with a similarly outfitted SLR, like the Nikon D500. The camera is also a little bit heavier than the 1.2 pound X-T3, coming in at 1.3 pounds when loaded with a battery and memory card. The body itself is magnesium alloy with a leaded wrap and extensive sealing to protect from dust and splashes. Many, but not all of Fujifilm lenses are similarly protected. There's no record button for video. Instead, the camera has a dedicated movie mode, accessible via the still movie switch, nested under the shutter dial. The shutter release is used to start and stop recording in movie mode, and snap a photo in still mode. The release has a thread, so you can add a soft release button or trigger it with a cable. Dual memory card slots support the fastest UHS to SDXC media. In addition to USB-C, there are micro HDMI, 2.5mm remote, and 3.5mm microphone ports on the left side. If you still use sync cables for flashes, be happy to know that the PC sync port is still there too on the front. If you want to use headphones to monitor audio without adding the grip, you can do so with a USB-C pair or the included dongle for 3.5mm earphones. Number 4. Nikon Z6 II. For a long time, the full-frame Nikon Z6 reigned as our best camera. This successor remains an excellent performer, particularly for those looking to upgrade from Nikon DSLRs, but the Z6 II's modest updates means it's fallen slightly behind the very best mirrorless cameras. It still comes highly recommended, though thanks to its consistency in most areas, with the addition of a second X-Speed 6 processor bringing a range of performance improvements that include a new 14 FPS per shooting speed. In our test, we found the autofocus to be a significant improvement on the Nikon Z6, particularly with animal eye face detection, and the Z6 II adds a much-needed UHS-2 SD card slot along with the existing XQD CF Express slot. Video does now lag slightly behind hybrid rivals like the Sony AV4, but with a tried and tested 24MP full-frame BSI CMOS sensor, which delivers a very good high ISO performance and the best handling around, it fully deserves its place at the top table for photographers. Number 3. Sony A7 IV. The Sony A7 IV is a truly modern hybrid camera. It's overkill for beginners and more expensive than its still-focused competition. But it's also a versatile workhorse for anyone who wants to shoot a mixture of photos and video. A price bump means it no longer occupies the same entry-level price bracket as its popular predecessor. But upgrades like the 10-bit video and Bion's XR processor make it an even more powerful option. In our test, we found the A7 IV to have class-leading autofocus skills, plus a seemingly endless buffer depth with CF Express cards that swallowed 9 FPS for over a minute. Its new 33MP full-frame sensor doesn't dramatically improve image quality over the A7 III, and there's a heavy crop on 4K footage. But as the complete package, the Sony A7 IV is a solid all-rounder which could be the only mirrorless camera you ever need. Number 2. Canon EOS R5. Canon really pulled out all the stops with the EOS R5. Lightweight yet substantial in the hand, it's the company's best mirrorless camera so far. High resolution, full frame, and driven by the powerful Digic X processor, it's an exceptional tool for stills photographers. Our tests found its next-gen dual-pixel autofocus to be outstanding, offering impressively accurate tracking and mind-blowing animal detection. Image quality is similarly superlative, producing remarkable results even in low light, with minimal noise even as high as ISO 4000. At 20 FPS continuous shooting with electronic shutter, and you've got a pro-level mirrorless camera that's as comfortable in the studio as it is on the street. The EOS R5's battery life can't rival a DSLR, but a good 4 hours of intensive shooting is possible on a single charge. Its video specs are also staggering for a camera of this size, capturing 8K at up to 30 FPS or 4K at up to 120 FPS, and recent firmware upgrades have only boosted its appeal for videographers. However, it's worth bearing in mind that the heat restrictions do limit recording times, while cool-down periods can be lengthy. Making the most of the performance will also require investment in costly CFX press cards, though if you can afford the R5's top-end price tag, perhaps that won't be an issue. Number 1. Canon EOS R6. The Canon EOS R6 is our top pick for enthusiasts looking to buy a full-frame mirrorless camera. Though its 20MP resolution is lower than typical for cameras of its class, you won't miss those megapixels unless you do a lot of heavy cropping, and image quality is fantastic nonetheless. The camera is also well suited to low-light situations, with superb noise handling and high ISO settings. It also has built-in image stabilization to reduce camera shake when shooting handheld at slower shutter speeds. On top of that, it has an impressive autofocus system that can reliably keep moving subjects in focus, with precise tracking to the edges of the frame. It has several different AF area modes, including different levels of spot and zone focusing, as well as face and eye detection and a few different AF tracking cases that determine focus behavior, which you can fine-tune even further to suit your needs. All of these options are fairly easy to navigate thanks to Canon's well-organized menu system and intuitive controls, making for a very comfortable shooting experience overall. This camera is also a video powerhouse, with frame rates up to 60 FPS and exceptional internal recording capability. It can capture 4K 10-bit 4x2x2 video internally, which means greater dynamic range and more color info to work with when editing your videos. Be warned, however, that the camera tends to overheat when recording 4K videos for longer periods, though it's less of an issue if you limit your recording time. Buying guide. There's no such thing as the perfect camera. Each has its own limitations, and a part of the magic photography is learning how to get around them. What you want to find is the camera best suited to the type of photos you want to take. If you want to shoot wildlife, you need good in-body stabilization. If you're a street photographer, shooting from the hip, stabilization isn't as important, but an extended viewfinder becomes paramount. If you're a landscape photographer who always uses a tripod, you probably don't need either of those things, but you might need a sensor capable of sharp, wall-sized prints. Once you figure out the camera best suited to your needs, buy a lens to go with it and start shooting every day. Read the manual for your camera and learn what it can and cannot do, and then use it over and over and over until it is an effortless extension of your mind. Once you have the comfort level, the gear fades to the background, where it belongs, and you can focus on making the images you've always dreamed of creating. Let us know in the comments which model works for you the best and why. Thank you for watching the video, and that is all for this one. If you find this video helpful in any way, give a huge thumbs up, stay tuned for the upcoming videos by subscribing to our channel. Hope to see you in the next video. Till next time, see you guys later.